Hi, I'm Natalie Brunell for Okcoin, and I'm super excited to be chatting with Brittany Laughlin. She is the Executive Director of the STX Foundation and a fellow female in crypto. Brittany, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
So let's start all the way back. I want to hear about your crypto career.
I actually started at American Express. So I did marketing in their small business division. So I got to work with small businesses, helping them get the credit tools they needed to grow their business. That experience was great because I learned I didn't want to work at a big corporation. It's very slow. They don't like innovation that much. So that was kind of the mindset that I took of like, okay, how do I get more involved in places where entrepreneurs are building? And that's what led me to the tech industry.
Just out of curiosity, what lessons did you learn at American Express that are sort of applicable to this decentralized finance world that we're now entering?
One of the hats I often wear in my company is around like regulatory, compliance, and tax, which is not always a fun hat to wear in crypto, but I think it's really essential to get people in because it makes them comfortable when they know that these things aren't scams or, they're not just gonna lose their money immediately. So yeah, that piece has actually carried throughout my career unexpectedly.
How did you first discover cryptocurrency or Bitcoin?
I was working at Union Square Ventures, which is a VC in New York, and it was around 2014, we started looking at Bitcoin tech. And that at the time was just like, okay, there's this thing called Bitcoin, it's kind of strange, but we think there's some innovation here. And the first company we invested in was Coinbase.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, at the time, a lot of other VCs thought that we were really silly, like, why are you investing in a wallet for Bitcoin? But we saw it as a tool to potentially disrupt the big players at the time, like Google and Facebook, and some of these networks that were aggregating all of this control over their users. We were like, there has to be a tool that gives entrepreneurs a way to build outside of these like big monolith companies.
Wow, okay, so you're the Executive Director of STX Foundation. That's the nonprofit, and then there's STX, right? And that's the token. Can you talk a little bit just about STX and sort of that ecosystem and what people should know?
So the STX chain, it enables smart contracts on top of Bitcoin. It actually enables, more functionality. And so the STX token is its own token. It's used for gas, to fuel these smart contracts. People can also participate in consensus of the STX chain. I think the mechanism of that consensus is really unique. So instead of using electricity to mine STX tokens, people use Bitcoin to mine stacks. So anyone who has Bitcoin can participate in mining. Some of that Bitcoin gets burned, so burn address, never to return. And some of it then gets redistributed to stacks holders who are participating by holding. We call this stacking. So if you're holding stacks tokens, you can actually earn Bitcoin for as long as you want to lock it up. So it's a great way to get exposure to both the stacks asset and Bitcoin.
And what's the nonprofit element of it? What's the foundation?
So the foundation was set up with a treasury of 100 million stacks, which are now around $250 to $300 million of US dollars equivalent. And our goal is to help support builders on the STX network. So that's education, it's grants, and it's supporting governance. So making it easier for people to coordinate around the STX chain.
Why does your company feel it's important to program Bitcoin? And I do want to mention that there's this Taproot upgrade that happened, which is supposed to enable smart contracts and enable some of this, innovation. So what do you think about all that? Why is that important?
Yeah, well, I think, there's more to Bitcoin than just holding. Why does Ethereum get to have all the fun of NFTs and DeFi and all these different primitives built on top? So STX is making it possible that you could keep your Bitcoin in your possession and use it for things like DeFi lending and protocols.
Why do you think there aren't more women in this space, and how do we get more of them to come in?
Nobody knows everything that's happening. So don't feel like you have to know everything in order to get involved. Even being in the industry, there's so much stuff I am learning constantly. But if you can just get started, even just like, $50, buy some Bitcoin, figure out how does the wallet work? How do fees work? What is mining? And once you kind of dip your toe in, I think it's a lot easier to continue to find your tribe and where you can contribute, where you can build your ideas. So it's just a matter of getting started.
All right, Brittany, so where do you see Bitcoin going? Like, fast forward 10 years, where are we at? What does Bitcoin and stacks look like?
I think the next 10 years is equally looking for innovative visionaries to figure out what they want the future to look like and to build it. But hopefully it'll be a lot easier to get on board. So you won't even notice that you're using it. Kind of in the way like the early internet. It was very hard and expensive to get online, and now we don't think anything of it.
Yeah.
Our phone automatically connects, our IDs automatically log us in. So I think that ease of use is there. But ultimately, I hope the future means that there is more distributed power, there's more representation of different people building the future, not just these, FANG companies that have so much control over the internet. I think it's like there can be thousands of big companies and people can really take their passions online.
For people that want to get stacks, can they go to Okcoin? How do they get them?
Yes, Okcoin is an exchange that you can buy them in the US. It's also supported on a number of other exchanges across the world. And you can find us on CoinMarketCap as well. So the token ticker is STX.
All right, well, thank you so much, Brittany, for joining me.
Thanks for having me.